Hello everyone, here's Matthew Wooten. For this video, I just want to be talking about just my experience as a neurodivergent writer. I'm on the autism spectrum, and everything that I experience is completely different from the average person, and is completely different from other people who are autistic. But for me, writing is not just something I do in my spare time. It's just my way of expressing who I am, really. I mean, if I struggle, I mean, if I struggle with like bad feelings like, well, I don't know, fear or anxiety or just any just or any just real life complex emotion, I just write a story about it. It's just a way of just expressing that thought. And and I've been a writer ever since I was 9 years old. I can remember writing my very first story when I was in the fourth grade. This was shortly after the new movie Wreck-It Ralph had come out, and in my English class, our teacher told us to write a story. It could be about anything, whether it is, I mean, whether it's based on a true story, whether it's a fictional story, or anything. So I did, and I can remember writing a story. And as a child, I wrote a fan fiction story, and I usually wrote stories with characters from my favorite shows in there growing up, like Madagascar, Kung Fu Panda, Tom and Jerry. But by the time I got into middle school, did I start creating my own characters, and that is also fun too. And creating my own characters was fun because I could make characters diverse in many ways. Lots of the protagonists I wrote um, were young black men on the autism spectrum. So I usually put a little bit of myself in there, and and lately this year I've been writing stories with like a whole like with a whole cast of diverse characters. Like I write characters that are LGBTQ. I write Sorry, I didn't mean to say write characters. I mean I create characters that are LGBTQ. I create characters who have different cultures, characters who have like different disabilities, all that. I'm just very diverse with my writing, and whenever I do that, I always do my research just to make sure that it's actually accurate. Like if I wanted to write a story with a Jewish character in it, I would do the appropriate research, and I would actually just talk to someone who is actually like who's actually Jewish, just get their intake on it, so that way, if a Jewish person were to read my work, um, they would see that it's accurate. Because while I write just for fun, sometimes I share my writing with people, and sometimes they may want to share with other people. It's just that if like I write a story with a character that is, let's see, um, that is a Mormon, for example, um, I give it to my best friend who isn't a Mormon, but she has a friend that is a Mormon, and if that friend were to read it, they could feel like they could feel that the story is accurate because I did my research, I did some interviews and such, and I just made the story accurate. And one thing about being a neurodivergent writer um, is that the writer holds like they care strongly for their characters that they create. Just as similar as just a parent would care for their child. So that's just why for me, I just like to write stories just for fun. But I said to myself before that if I was ever given like the opportunity to to turn to turn a story that I've been writing into a feature-length film, a short film, or a limited series, I would absolutely do it. The only condition is that I would want to be a part of the project because if I give the team the characters, the story, the script, all that, they can easily change it and it's not really getting out the right message. So that's just the only condition. But for me, that's not really my goal with my writing. I just do writing just because it's good for me. It's good for me. To relax. It is also good. It's also good for me to express myself, and and plus, it's just me. I mean, I can just say that. I mean, it's just part of who I am. I said to myself that I don't know what I once said that I do not know what else I could be if I wasn't a writer. I mean, I just don't know. So I'm just grateful that I'm a writer. And another thing about neurodivergent writers is that sometimes um we may need more help and more patience than the average writer. So sometimes I may feel the need to write stories with all the tropes out there. Like if I were to write a romance story, I would have to like write love stories of all tropes, like like the haters to lovers trope, friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, tragic. I mean, all the tropes that you would see in any romance book, TV show, or movie. Because sometimes it may be kind of difficult for us to actually just develop that kind of character and develop that kind of just storyline. So we only do um what we feel comfortable doing. So So while we appreciate advice that you give us, and when I say advice, I mean friendly advice or constructive criticism, we do appreciate it. It's just that sometimes we may have to do things our own way because that's just the way that can help ease that anxiety. Like, here's the thing. Let's say for example, I've been writing a story that has a male main character, a female side character, and a male villain. Now, someone may tell me that why can't you just make the male villain a female villain? Because that way, um, the female villain can go toe to toe with the female side character who could be fighting over the male character. Now, here's the thing. I mean, if someone gives me that idea and I feel that it's okay, sure, I can do that. But if they're not really comfortable with that idea because because they spend a lot of time on the story, it means a lot to them. It doesn't mean anything bad. It doesn't mean that we just want to be in control. It's just that writing our own story, taking the time to edit it, and sharing it on our own terms with certain people. That's um that's just how it is. I mean, we just like just share with the right people. That's just why for me as a writer, I prefer quality over quantity. So I don't really care if like if oh I don't know like 25 or 50 people read a passage of a story that I post on like social media. What I really focus on is just people that I know that actually read it because there could be some people who just skim past it, scan it, or don't even read it at all. So I focus on the people that actually are interested in my writing or people that just who just give it a try and just like gives me advice, constructive criticism. I mean, I'll accept that. But really, for me, I'm not really obsessed with. I mean, with how my next book could be. Oh, I don't know, like the next New York bestseller or the next hit movie or whatever. I mean, that's not really my goal. But but lately, I've been seeing a lot of I mean, as a writer, I often like scroll on like social media, like Instagram, Twitter, X, Facebook, Pinterest. I usually go on those websites just for inspiration, for what my characters could look like, because for me, I just write stories with just words. I don't draw any pictures. I don't include any pictures. I'm kind of like Belle from Beauty and the Beast, where she said to Gaston that some people use their imaginations in books that don't have pictures, and that's me. I mean, I'd rather just. I mean that's just me. I just like writing stories that just have no pictures and are just all words, and I just leave that up to the imagination. And for me, I'm a very visual person. I mean, and I have a vivid imagination, so sometimes I may need to see what my characters would look like if I did draw them. But the thing is that I would never post them on social media in the final draft. I mean, like if I have a character that bears a resemblance to a celebrity, I would just be very descriptive with my writing, just being able to describe what the character looks like if there was a picture of them. Like if a male character is bears a resemblance to, well, I don't know. I mean, some popular actor that fans are obsessed about. I mean, I'll be very descriptive when describing them. Now, one thing I should also tell you is that I am against AI, and here's what I mean by that. I mean, when I say that I'm against AI, I mean I'm just against using AI just for the whole creative process. I'm totally against using AI for just like simply just typing in, write a story about a dog and a cat. I mean, I'm not like that because for me, nothing can replace that process. And plus, I love going through the long process of writing a story. I love just like trying to come up with a title, developing the characters, how the story is going to begin, what's going to lead to the conflict, how it's going to end, and what's the message or the symbols or the themes or what the villain is. I mean, all that is fun to me. Now, and now just like any writer, they have a tool. I mean, writers, I mean, any tool that any writer would use is like Google, Wikipedia, or the local library for any kind of books. So I just use like all kinds of sources for my books. But here's the thing: I have never let AI write an entire story for me. Sometimes I may need help with the creative process, and I may need just some help. But the ideas that I have written, they're mine. I write them myself. So let's just say, for instance, I'll take this story I've been writing. I'm writing for a while. It's a crime series I've been writing, and since I want my story to be like forensically accurate, since this is a story about like solving mysteries and fighting crime, I will need to know the basics of like law, investigating, interrogation, corrections, all that. So I may use like, oh, I don't know, Google or even ChatGPT to like just answer a simple question about like the themes. Like let's say for example, for instance, I mean, what exactly are Miranda rights when someone arrests someone? So that's so that's one example, and sometimes I may need to do some research into medical science if I'm going to be writing a story. If a character gets a medical injury, like if a character gets a head injury, I mean, what's consistent with a head injury? I mean, is it dizziness? Is it blurred vision? Is it nausea? I mean, I will need to know all that. So the thing is that I don't use AI for the whole creative process. I use it just for research purposes. But here's the thing. To any writers or artists out there, I will say this. You are a writer if you think of this idea. You are a writer if you take the time to sit down, take out a notepad or a binder or a notebook or just a sheet of paper and just jot out these ideas from your head. And if you may need some inspiration. And when I say inspiration, like if you can't draw, but you're curious as to what your main character would look like, utilize utilize real art. I mean, try Pinterest, try Instagram, Twitter. Um, there are so many resources out there that you can use that aren't AI. So sometimes I may need help with just like trying to find like a character model that could look like my main character, and sometimes I may need to go on like all the platforms and such, like Instagram, Twitter, and such, just to see if my character looks like that person. But really, what your character looks like is based on what you think. So because because the thing is, for your writing, it is your writing. Those are your characters. It's your world. It's yours. You're the creator. It's just that all of us writers have different research methods. We have different ways of just researching and such. And we may use different tools. I mean, some people just use completely books, or there are some writers who just use the internet all the time. But for me, I'm kind of like a combination of old school and today's world. So I do use books and I do use technology because both of them are helpful. And plus, I just enjoy doing that. Every time when I come up with a new story idea, I can always remember going to the local library and just looking around for books that I may feel that could be useful, or or how I go online and I just start just asking questions or start typing up away. But it's just important to remember that while things may be kind of difficult right now, especially since especially since AI is just taking over a lot of things, especially art, that just to remember that if you have been a writer or an artist or a painter or anything, that you are an artist. You are an artist, you are a genius, and your art is brilliant. And you are brilliant. But that's all for now.